Anyone want to guess what we're making today? Well, if you guessed fudge with pecans, you are right. So I've started mixing up my stuff. I'm going to make a double batch. So I've got 6 cups of sugar, 4 teaspoons of vanilla, 3 sticks of butter. It calls for, I'm going to do 2/3 cup of evaporated milk, 2 jars of marshmallow cream. I need 4 cups of chocolate chips, and I'll probably do a couple cups of pecans because I really like pecans in my fudge. Then I'm going to use this butter, and I'm going to butter the bottom of these pans really good, and it keeps the fudge from sticking, but I'll show you that part when we get to it. Okay, so it almost took a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. There was very little left in there. I did not use it. I used I had a 1/3 cup measuring cup, and I did that 4 times for a double batch. So for a single batch, it would just be 2/3 cup of evaporated milk. But I tossed away what I did not need. I'm going to turn this on low heat and let it start cooking down. Once the sugar is completely dissolved, you want the sugar to be completely dissolved, nothing gritty about it, or your fudge won't set up. And then you want to let it come to a boil, and you'll be stirring it constantly. And then once it starts to come to a boil, all your sugar is dissolved and your mixture is the right consistency, then you'll remove it off the heat and add the chocolate chips and marshmallow cream. But I'll take you along with me for that part. Okay, I have my pans all buttered up. I did all the sides, all the way around, and all the bottom. Just, you take your stick of butter and you just rub it all in there really good. And that's what keeps the fudge from sticking. Then when you can just pop your pan upside down like on a cutting board or something, and pop the bottom of the pan, and it'll come out in a pan loaf size, and then you can just slice it up from there. It makes it a whole lot easier. This recipe and the technique of doing this is how I grew up with my mom doing it, and this is how I'm going to do it. I just have this on the lowest setting on my stove, and the sugar is starting to melt down. The butter's starting to melt down. Everything's starting to melt. You want to keep stirring so it can all render down together. It'll take a little time. Now, this will get a little tough after you start putting the chocolate chip morsels in and the marshmallow cream. It may require a second person to help, but we'll see how it goes. But you want to do it slowly, on the slowest heat, because you don't want to scorch your sugar. You want it to slowly melt down. Let that butter melt down as the sugar is dissolving. So all of my butter is melted, but my sugar is still grainy. So I'm going to continue it over the fire until this comes to a rolling boil. And then once it comes to a rolling boil, that's when you're going to, you'll look at it and you'll make sure it's not grainy. As you can tell, this is still grainy. So it's got a little bit to go, continuing to heat. Constantly stirring so you have no sticking on the bottom of your pan. Okay, so it's been boiling for about 4 minutes now. I'm going to let this boil as I continue to stir for an extra minute. I want to make good and certain that everything, all my sugar is completely dissolved, because if it's not, your fudge will not set up. And it's important to make sure it's hot enough as you start adding your chocolate chip morsels where they can melt good, and then your marshmallow cream and your nuts. I'm probably going to have to swap out my silicone spoon to a metal one. I hate to use metal in my copper pots, but this stuff will get so tough to stir when you start adding the other ingredients that it literally will need a tougher spoon, and possibly a second person, because your arm will get tired. So maybe you've got a second person around that can help stir as the other ingredients start going in. But you want this to be good and hot so the morsels melt, and then your marshmallow cream. Now what I did with my marshmallow cream is I put it in the microwave for about 20 seconds to get it good and loose in my jar so I can scrape it out good. Okay, I'll bring you back along with me. So I poured both bags of my chocolate chips in there, stirring it up really good. Want to make sure those are good and melted in there. And then I'm going to put my marshmallow cream in it. And I do believe I've got both bags mixed up really good. Okay, I have both of my 7-ounce jars of marshmallow cream over in there. Now I'm just going to mix it all up really, really good. And the darker chocolate will start to turn a milk chocolate color. This is when it's going to get kind of tough. So I'll bring you back when I've got it all mixed in good. But you want to keep just folding it in with the hot chocolate. Let it melt and mix the marshmallow cream up really good in there. Okay, I've got all my marshmallow cream all mixed up in my mixture. Now, only thing left I need to put in there is my pecans. And then I will mix that up really good. And then I'll be pouring it into my pans that I have buttered over there. And here's the product of cooling off stage. I have poured my mixture with pecans and all into my 2 buttered pans, and I will let these sit here for a couple of hours, cool off, and then I will put them in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow I will cut them into squares and place them into my little Christmas bowls. Thank you for coming along with me while I made my fudge. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And that wraps up this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.